Hey guys, Terry Carter here. Back in 1996, I had a friend come over to the house, and Ben Probst, who showed me a picture of a life-size carving in relief of a man with a cross for a head and looked like he was holding a ball in his hand. This guy was carved, all the outside rock was chiseled out, leaving him raised, chiseled out anywheres between a ½ inch to 2 inches deep all the way around, so it took a lot of time to carve this thing into the solid rock here. Anyways, Ben told me that this was in Cedar City, Utah, and he gave me some contact information for some people to contact that might could help me find it. And because I was doing a lot of other stuff in Cedar City, Utah with the Mystery Glyphs, I thought this would be a great time for me to do some more exploring with the Mystery Glyphs and also find this life-size carving of what I ended up dubbing the shotput man, because it looked like to me he was getting ready to throw the shotput. Later on I realized it wasn't a ball in his hand at all, but he was holding his head in his hand. Anyways, it took me quite a while to find the shotput man with all the steep ravines, all the steep mountain tops and everything, but after quite a while, I eventually did find him. I was amazed at what I was looking at. So I took the time, a lot of time, and scoured the area. And I noticed just before you get to the shotput man, there was a large boulder that had the relief carving of an eye on it. And next to the relief carving of the eye was two straight lines. One line pointed straight up to the ravine to where the shotput man was. The other line pointed north towards where the mystery glyphs are. Over the period of several years, I was able to locate several interesting things, one of them being this eye-catcher rock here, where you've got the white mountains in front and the red mountains in back, but you've got this V on the skyline with this red boulder in the middle between them. Well, the shotput man, if you find this notched white rocks with the red boulder in it, if you go directly to the right of that and follow the ravine up, 100 yards or so, you'll find the shotput man. If you go up on top of the mountain there, come across this rock had been lifted up and propped up with 3 small rocks. There's several other things, but I won't go into them here. I contacted a local resident, Wilbur Wilson, who knew about the shotput man and told me this following story, and I'll let you just hear it in his own words. 3/18/97.
Hello, is Wilbur there?
This is he.
Wilbur, this is Terry Carter calling.
Yeah.
Did you ever track down and figure out more what that guy with the cross for a head is, or?
Haven't any idea.
No idea, huh?
Life size.
Yeah.
And unless it's rained or something, you can walk right over and don't even notice it.
Yeah.
It's just,
anybody have any idea how long it's been there? When was the first time it was seen, or anybody remember seeing it a long time ago? Or
nobody evidently knows anything about it around here. What happened was there was a guy camped out up there in a little draw where it is, not very far from it.
Uh-huh.
And one night, he showed up at the police station and says, "Hey, there's all kind of weird things going on up there." He says there's flashing blue lights and I can hear people talking. And anyway, it scared him to death, and he just took off, left his stuff there, went down, told the police about it, and hightailed it out of town.
Really?
And they went up there and investigated, and his stuff was there, not very far away, is this carving in the rock, and that's. But until then, evidently nobody around here even knew anything about it.
About what year was that, you know?
Oh, that's been within the last few years.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, there's some of his stuff still laying around up there.
Huh. So, he's seen the blue lights, huh?
Yeah, he could see lights and hear people talking, and it really spooked him.
Huh. I don't know anything about the people talking, but I know that, if there's treasure buried and it has to do with the atmosphere and the right time and after a rain and stuff like that, you'll get a blue halo come up out of a treasure vault. Yeah.
Oh.
Huh. That's interesting to hear. I don't know about the people talking though.
It's been in his head, but whatever happened up there, it scared him pretty bad, and he didn't go back.
So that's how you found out about it then, or?
Right. Yeah.
Huh.
And evidently, until then, nobody, if anybody knew about it, they knew it wasn't really common knowledge. Nobody said anything about it. The writing up here is pretty common knowledge. All the older people in town know about it.
Talking to other people about what this man reported, he reported seeing a group of people in a line, kind of dressed up like Aztecs or Egyptians. There was drum music, there was chanting going on, and almost looked like they was carrying somebody, like a funeral procession or something like that. And so whether this story was true or not, whether he really saw this stuff and it scared him, or whether he just made this up, who knows. Back in 1996, when I first located the shot put man, up on a bluff just to the south of the shot put man, you could still see the remnants of this transient's camp, just there near the shot put man. Back in 2002, I took a friend with me, Gene Tappan, for the purpose of photographing, documenting everything we could that was around the shot put man. And one thing that we noticed as we went up to the shot put man was that now there was a worn out, beaten trail to the shot put man. Before, when I found it, there was no trail at all. There was no sign that anybody had ever been up there. But now there was a heavily beaten path to it, letting me know that a lot of people were going to visit this. In 2003, a group that was going to be doing some kind of a festival with the Vikings, Norwegians, Sweden, something like that, in Cedar City, Utah, ran an advertisement in several of the local newspapers around the area. It was paid advertisements that said right at the headlines, paid advertisements, and the advertisement showed a picture of the shot put man, and it talked about how some kids found up in the hills a sealed off cave and found a bunch of artifacts. The artifacts was sent for testing. The Smithsonian got involved. They figured these papers was left by some kind of a soldier from the 1800s, and it said that there was carved a god of Odin, and they didn't know where this was. But this was clearly a publicity stunt advertisement thing to get people to have attention to the festival they was going to be putting on. Well, a lot of people took that as that these people also carved the shot put man, so it automatically became dubbed as part of this elaborate advertising to get people to come to their festival. Well, the problem with that is the newspaper article didn't happen until 2003. I learned about this and found out in 1996, and the people that I could contact and knew more about it and who knew about it before me knew about it several years before I knew about it. There's no way that I think that they would have done this carving 5 to 10 years before they even planned on having this festival. I don't think they planned. There's no way they could have planned it that far in advance, that I think. Well, several years later after that, Jim Phillips, who was a treasure hunter, he claimed he had a special camera that he got from NASA. There was one of 2 or 3 cameras. I can't remember exactly what he told me, but he said it was worth like $100,000, and he re-engineered it a little bit. He would fly around in airplanes and take pictures of the ground, and it would pick up the treasure flares off of any treasure. It would show up as a light on this film if there was a treasure in the area. And he showed me some of his film, and it show a bright yellow light or a blue light. He said yellow was gold, blue was silver, I believe. Well, he flew over the shot put man area, and he got a flash on his film above the shot put man. So roughly, I'm going to say 50 yards above the shot put man, Jim Phillips and crew sunk a shaft, I think 50 to 80 feet deep, in solid rock, thinking they would find a treasure. They never found anything that I am aware of, and eventually gave up. Now, I'd always wondered if the shot put man was tied in any way with the Mystery Glyphs there in Cedar City because of that line that points towards them. And the Mystery Glyphs are probably a mile away from the shot put man, but years later, I was in Colorado and found out about a set of mystery glyphs in Colorado, and about the exact same direction and about the exact same distance from the Cedar City mystery glyphs to the shot put man in the Colorado mystery glyphs is this life-size carving in relief of a mummy, and around the corner from the mummy is a lion. You can see that the kids have come in here and vandalized, spray painting this mummy, spray painting the lion, and the same thing is happening now with the shot put man. People are going in there and destroying it, painting it. Makes me sick. You know, when I first learned of it, there was just a few people that knew about it, and I shared it with a few people, and they shared it with a few people, and like I said before, too long, it became a beaten pathway to the shot put man. So, you know, now that there's so many people knows about this, I'm going to share the location, and here's what I would like you to do is anytime you're there, make sure that if you see people there that they're treating it with respect. They're not carving on it, they're not painting on it, they're protecting it. Now, I don't know how old the shot put man really is. I don't know if it's tied in with the mystery glyphs. I don't know if it's modern. I don't know if it was put there with the Spaniards. But nevertheless, it's cool and it ought to be protected, because somebody went to a lot of trouble to put that there. Who knows what the reason it is? I've had a lot of people contact me over the years because I wrote a small little teeny article about it on a website that I had years ago back in the 90s called The Treasure Hunter's Hideout under the Shot Put Man. And a lot of people had a lot of theories. One interesting theory is a guy told me that this was a Spanish Jesuit marking and that I needed to look for several things, and one of the things I needed to look for was an elephant. Well, man, I can't believe it. I don't know if this is just natural in the rock or whatnot, but I found this elephant. Anyways, to get to the shot put man, from Cedar City, head up towards Cedar Breaks, up the canyon Cedar Breaks. Take a road that turns off to the left, a dirt road. If you go to where there's a huge pull-off on the right side of the road, big enough for a big diesel truck, you've gone too far. Turn around, come back down in the first road now that turns to your right. Take that dirt road. Go up there just a little ways and park. Look for the eye catcher rock, the red boulder in the white V. From the eye catcher rock to the south or to your right from the eye catcher rock, follow that ravine up, not very far, maybe 50 to 100 yards. You'll come to the boulder with the eye in it. Follow up the ravine just a little bit farther, and there's the shot put man. Sometimes he's hard to see. The first time that I seen him, I had to pour water all over him to get my photos to turn out good. If you make it to see the shot put man, leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts, what your experiences was, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button, and like and leave a comment.